I blame Hillary Clinton personally for the death of my son. That's personally. In an email to her daughter shortly after the attack, Hillary Clinton blamed it on terrorism. She lied to me and then called me a liar.
And that was Patricia Smith, whose son was killed in the attack in Benghazi, Libya, giving a very emotional testimony on the death of her son during the Republican National Convention. Smith and Charles Wood, another parent, have repeatedly blamed Hillary Clinton for how she handled that attack, and now they are filing a wrongful death lawsuit against her. And welcome back to Newsmax Prime. And remember, you can join the conversation. Give us a call at 1-877-NEWSMAX. Again, that number is 1-877-639-7629. Now, for more, we are joined by former federal prosecutor Larry Klayman. He is the attorney for the parents of the Benghazi terror attack victims. He's also the founder of Judicial Watch and now Freedom Watch. And as always, we appreciate you joining us here on Newsmax Prime. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Miranda. The same.
Now, during an interview with Fox's Chris Wallace, Hillary Clinton was asked about Pat Smith's accusations against her. Let's look, and we want to get your reaction afterwards.
I understand the grief and the incredible sense of loss that can motivate that. As other members of families who lost loved ones have said, that's not what they heard. I don't hold any ill feeling for someone who, in that moment, may not fully recall everything that was or wasn't said.
Mr. Klayman, what's your reaction to what you just heard Hillary Clinton say?
I would like to say she's a great actress, but she's not. She doesn't know how to lie. Her eyes go back and forth quicker than Charlie McCarthy, that famous puppet, many years ago when I was a young boy. She's lying. And she told our clients, Charles Wood, Patricia Smith, she said that in fact it was a video critical of the Prophet Muhammad that resulted in crowds rising up and killing their sons. In fact, that's not true. As Pat Smith said at the RNC convention, Hillary Clinton told them something that was false, because we know from emails that have been released from the State Department and otherwise that she told the Prime Minister of Egypt that it was Al-Qaeda, it was a terrorist attack. She told her own daughter, Chelsea Clinton, the same thing. And then when our clients talked about it in public as to what they were told, Hillary Clinton called them liars. So yes, we've sued Hillary Clinton for defamation. That's libel. We've sued her for damages, but this is about justice. It's not about money. And we sued her for wrongful death because the use of that private unsecured email server, based upon what we now know, it just came out in the last few weeks, the server was likely hacked by the Russians, by the Iranians, by hostile forces to the United States. That gave up the location of Ambassador Christopher Stevens. They were conducting covert operations in Benghazi, and it allowed the terrorists to target their sons, giving rise to the death of their sons. And that's why Pat Smith and Charles Woods, my clients, my proud clients, and aggrieved clients and friends at this point, are seeking justice, because no one has ever held Hillary Clinton accountable under the bar of justice. I came close when I was running Judicial Watch, but basically this time we want to legally put her away. She needs a verdict against her by a jury of her peers, and then she needs to be criminally prosecuted, to be blunt. This woman is a threat to this country. She's a threat to law-abiding citizens. She needs to be held accountable under law.
Mr. Klayman, I want to get your reaction. Nick Morrell, a Clinton campaign spokesperson, has said, while no one can imagine the pain of the families of these brave Americans that we lost in Benghazi, these are his exact words, there have been 9 different investigations into this attack. What do you say to pundits who say it's over with, let it go, and that this lawsuit against Clinton over Benghazi just doesn't hold up?
Well, first of all, Miranda, I hope people take a look at our complaint. It's very simple and straightforward and very powerful. It's at freedomwatchusa.org. Hope people will support us. But you see, what we have in Washington, D.C., and this is why I do what I do, it's why I founded Judicial Watch, why I now founded Freedom Watch, is that we have, it's like the National Football League. You have the American Conference and you have the National Conference. And they both play in the same league. And they both divide up the money, they divide up the power. They like to go on cable news networks and pontificate and criticize each other so they can get reelected with their constituency. But they have no intention of ever holding any of themselves accountable. They're just dividing up the money pie, which has done better in the last 8 years under Obama, who has crippled the rest of the United States economically than in the history of the world. So what we have here is a giant cover-up by the elite in Washington. They protect themselves, they scratch their own backs. And so these 9 investigations were basically just a sham. At the end of the day, Congress, even the Republicans, took a dive, just like FBI Director Comey checked out. He took an exit stage left. If he had recommended the prosecution of Hillary Clinton over sending classified email on her private server, if he ever wanted another appointment in Washington, he would have been blocked by the Democrats. And he put his own personal interests ahead of the national interest. He's a nice man and he's very appealing. But this is the animal that exists politically in Washington. They look after themselves. The American people come second. And that's exactly why we fought a revolution in 1776. In fact, the situation today is worse than in 1776. And it's why I think we're headed for another one. I pray that we don't. I want nonviolent revolution. I want to use the courts. I want to use whatever means we can to bring the government back to the people. But as Thomas Jefferson said, when the people fear the government, there's tyranny right now. And that's why all these things are covered up. It's a mutual assured destruction by both political
And with that
parties.
being said, again, we keep talking about the 9 investigations real quickly, and then I want to ask you about something else. But how confident are you that this lawsuit will succeed in your favor?
I'm very confident. We have a very good judge in this case who's been courageous in the past. And what we want to do is gather information, present it to the American people, go in front of a jury of Hillary Clinton's peers, and have them make a ruling. And I'm confident that we will win. But even if we didn't, we have to use the courts. We have to use legal means to try to get justice here. And Hillary Clinton is not above the law, and she must be held accountable.
And with the time that remains, Ohio Democrat Senate candidate Ted Strickland joked about the death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia earlier this week, saying it came at a good time. I want you to hear what he had to say, and I want to get your reaction.
The death of Scalia saved labor from a terrible decision. And I don't wish anyone ill, but it happened at a good time. Because once that decision had been made, it would have been tough to reverse it.
Now, Strickland has since apologized in a statement this morning, writing that that was an insensitive remark and saying he apologized. Do you see a double standard here? Because there hasn't been much media attention given to this.
Well, there is. I mean, Donald Trump made a remark yesterday about Hillary Clinton and gun control, which was not well phrased. He doesn't phrase things correctly. I don't think he intended to threaten Hillary Clinton. But of course, the media, the leftist media, jumped on him and said that that happened. This guy was actually advocating for the death of Scalia. I got to tell you something. I'm a conservative, but I'm nonpartisan. I've sued Republican administrations, George W. Bush, others. But the left in this country is frankly evil. I mean, not all people that are liberal are, but the political leftist elite wants to turn this country into a highly socialist state. They are disrespectful towards the police. They've incited violence to kill the police. And frankly, they're destroying this country. And it is a war. It's a war between left and right. They've created a race war, regrettably, between black and white. Hillary Clinton's about ready to do it between men and women. This country is being pulled apart by the left, and behind it is George Soros with his Media Matters, a man who, with his dad, collaborated with the Nazis, and he's Jewish. This is what we're dealing with. This is the mastermind behind these various actions by the left, and we are in a war to save this country. We are really sinking fast. So I hope people will look at our website at freedomwatchusa.org. We're fighting that war for you, and we're doing it the best we can in a peaceful, nonviolent way. And I thank you, Miranda, for having me on, because we need to talk more clearly about what's going on when we hear these pundits coming out of Washington, D.C.
And we appreciate you coming on our program. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I know I'm a little wordy, but thank you.
No, you were wonderful. Thank you for coming on. Hope to have you back.
You're welcome.
We want to hear what you think about what our guests had to say. Join the conversation by giving us a call on 1-877-NEWSMAX. Again, that's 1-877-639-7629. We'll be right back.